Hey guys, it's Yuta and welcome to my room, and today we're going to discuss how Japanese newspapers report Russian invasion of Ukraine. First, Yomiuri, which is the most popular newspaper in Japan. This is the top page and you can see it's all about Ukraine. First, Yomiuri, which is the most popular newspaper in Japan, and this is the top page and you can see it's all about Ukraine. This one is how Russia is looking for fighters in Syria, how Russia decided 48 countries are unfriendly countries to Russia. This is about how both countries are using the internet to spread false information for their benefits. And this is about how Russian Paralympic athletes couldn't participate and how Japanese players cried because of that. This one is about how Russia's tactics were similar to what they did in Syria in 2015. This one is about how Tokyo is ready to accept Ukrainian refugees if the government asks. This looks pretty neutral, I guess. Nothing overly sensational. The next one is Asahi, which is the second most popular newspaper. And again, top page is full of Russian, Ukrainian stories. This one is about how wealthy people in Russia are troubled because of that and how European countries are actually targeting wealthy people with their sanctions because wealthy people support Putin. It's interesting that this is the top story. So this one is about how ex-executive of a child company of a big Russian bank is saying that the damages on Russian economy, is more than I expected. This one again is about how Russia is looking for fighters in Syria, according to the United States. And this one is about how a specialist is saying that excluding Russia from the Paralympics is how it's supposed to be. And this one is about how Putin is claiming that Ukraine is taken over by Nazis. And Asahi is more left-wing than Yomiuri. But I'm not sure if you can see any obvious political biases here. Next one is Nikkei, which is a business newspaper. If you speak Japanese, you don't need a video like this, so I will teach you the kind of Japanese the real-life Japanese people today actually speak. So click the link in the description and subscribe to my email group. Again, lots of Russian, Ukrainian news on the top page. This one is about many companies are withdrawing their businesses from Russia. This one is about how OPEC is saying that we can't replace Russian supply of crude oil. Again, how Russia is looking for fighters in Syria. So I think this news is very, very important. This one is interesting. This one is how people are using NFT to support Ukraine. This one again is about how wealthy people are leaving Russia with small jets. This one is similar to the previous newspaper, Asahi, but Nikkei is emphasizing small jets, unlike Asahi, so you can see how each newspaper is different. They have different perspectives. This one is about oil price. This one is about how they couldn't reach a ceasefire agreement. So it's quite understandable they focus on business aspects of this invasion. So the last one is Sankei, which is more right-wing than any other newspapers we talked about. And this is already interesting. So this article is about how Japan is too soft because of agreements and constitution. Japan can't give weapons, for example, to Ukraine. You guys know how Japan's self-defense force actually can't attack any countries, right? So they're not allowed to use any type of force. So all they can do is just support other countries, but they can't fight, they can't shoot, they can't kill. So this article is criticizing that. And so right-wing people are in favor of rearming Japan and left-wing people are against that. So you can already see different biases with different newspapers. But this one in particular, Sankei, it actually expresses more opinions than other newspapers. As you have seen, other newspapers focus on reporting more than expressing opinions. But of course, the way they report might be a little biased based on their political alignment. But yeah, this one is pretty explicitly expressing opinions. And this one is about how a Japanese politician is criticizing the government because government is not deciding to ban Russian airplanes in our airspace. So this guy thinks that we need to be tougher against Russians. And this one is about how the United States is emphasizing the defense in the Baltic states. This one is about how Russia fired 625 missiles. And again, how they look for fighters in Syria. And this one is criticizing China for its positions. So he's saying that how China isn't afraid of criticizing other countries, usually, but in this case, they're not really criticizing Russia because they have important relations with both Ukraine and Russia. Again, right-wing people are more nationalistic, so they are more likely to criticize other countries, especially China and South Korea, and of course North Korea, but everybody criticizes North Korea. And this one is about how Germany will continue buying energy from Russia. And this one is, again, another opinion article. And the writer is praising the Ukrainian president because of his tough attitude. And she's kind of lamenting how Japan forgot how to fight. So this newspaper doesn't hide their political opinions. Isn't it interesting comparing different newspapers? You can clearly see their biases. And if you speak Japanese, you can do this on your own. So I will teach you the kind of Japanese that real-life Japanese people today actually speak, which can be different from the kind of Japanese that textbooks and apps teach you. So click the link and subscribe to my email group, Japanese with Yuta.